Thank you, everybody, for being here today. We're very excited about being able to present information about OptimalResume's ePortfolio tool. And what we're going to be able to explain is how ePortfolio can be utilized to support and document student social change initiatives outside the classroom, so through the collection of various artifacts. And we'll also explain how OptimalResume can be adopted for use in the classroom through collaboration with the Career Services Center. So we're really happy that you're here today, and I'm really happy that Lisa Cook from Career Services has been a major, major part of our efforts in integrating ePortfolio into our classes. So thank you. Next slide. For the agenda, we are going to be doing a little trivia contest, and too bad you're not at the National Faculty Meeting because Lisa had provided goodies for those people who answered correctly. We will also be talking about the benefits of ePortfolio from an academic and career management perspective, as well as looking at some of the OptimalResume tools. And we'll have two examples of various programs, including from the School of Counseling and the School of Public Policy and Administration. And we'll also have a question and answer session as well. And with that, we're going to go into the trivia questions for you.
Great. Thank you, Linda. And so just to give you just some background on OptimalResume, we launched it in 2012, and so we now have 10,700 users on the system. It's both students and alumni, because alumni keep their accounts when they graduate. We've just had tremendous success with this system, and the reason that we implemented it is because the Department of Labor did a survey nationwide back in 2012 to find out the top career resources, and the OptimalResume system came up as one of those top resources on that survey. And because students most often think of career services when they're looking for a job or when they're planning to update their resume, we thought that if we could implement a system where they could look at sample resumes and develop their own materials, getting ideas from those sample resumes, that we could spend more time with them talking about content in career advising appointments as opposed to formatting and, you know, numbering pages and putting a header on it and things like that. So we've had really good luck with the system, and so we're really pleased that I can see there are over 20 participants on this webinar, and I'm so pleased to see that. Because Dr. Gray and Dr. Kiltz have had very good luck implementing OptimalResume into their programs. They're going to go into the specifics of that in a few minutes. And we know that there's some interest with the undergraduate programs, and so we're thinking that, you know, we'd like to implement this tool into as many programs as possible, because it's a way for students to start thinking about their career goals early and thinking about their career readiness and how qualified they are to meet their future career goals at the beginning of their programs. Because we'd much rather talk to them at the beginning in terms of how can you close your qualification gaps, rather than at the end when they say, you know, I'm about to graduate, I'm getting my MBA, I don't have any experience, and can you help me get a job? So the point of this is really to promote career readiness and have them think about their career goals from the very beginning of their academic programs. So with that background, I'm going to go through about 5 slides now, and so they're poll slides, and so you're going to be given the option of choosing what you think is the top answer. And so the data that I'm presenting to you was collected through the 2015 Student Satisfaction Survey. We had about 19,000 students respond to that survey, which was fantastic. And so a subset of those responders talked about, you know, what their career goals were, and so we wanted to collect this data and then present it to you in case you're not convinced as to the importance of discussing career readiness and getting students to think about their career goals at the beginning of their program. Hopefully these trivia responses, the questions and answers I'm about to present to you, I hope they will convince you. So the first one, what percentage of, it looks like you all have answered already. Okay. So the question, what percentage of career advising appointments served unemployed students and alumni from 2012 to 2015? We know because we track this through our metrics for one-on-one advising appointments. And so it looks like 30, let's see, the highest percentage was 15 to 20%, it looks like. pretty consistently, and actually it's a little bit higher than that. It was 25 to 30%. So it's about 1 in 4 one-on-one advising appointments that we hold in career services is with someone, a student or alumnus who is unemployed. Next slide, please. Okay, so what percentage, I think we skipped a slide possibly, but here, we'll go to this one. Okay, what percentage of students are pursuing their degrees to change career fields or jobs? So what are looking to make pretty big changes as far as careers or jobs? So if you can go ahead and put your answer in. So the top response that you're indicating is 26%. Actually, it's a little less. It was 21%. But it's still pretty significant, but it's because it's about 1 in 5. And that's not the students that are consulting us for career advising. Those are the students who indicated they're changing careers in the student satisfaction survey. So that's a pretty big percentage, pretty significant. Next slide, please. So what percentage of alumni pursued degrees to change careers according to the 2015 Alumni Satisfaction Survey? Okay, all right, I think we skipped to another slide. Okay, there we are. What percentage of alumni pursued degrees to change careers? I'll give it another second or so. Okay, so you thought that it was about 20%. Actually, it's 45% was the answer for that question. So nearly half of the alumni surveyed in the last Alumni Satisfaction Survey pursued their Walden degrees in order to change careers. And the reason that I'm presenting this, the reason this is important is because oftentimes I think so many of us believe that our students are just getting a degree for a raise or a promotion or because they always wanted to get this degree, but we're finding that there's an upward trend in the number who actually want to make substantial career changes. And of course, it's self-selection because those are the folks that consult us in career services. But when we look at these large surveys, not even just the students we serve, but alumni who have already graduated, to see that 45% of them had the intention of changing careers as a result of their Walden degree, that's pretty significant. Okay. So now we're looking at career readiness. So what percentage of students did not know potential employers for their future career field or job in the student satisfaction survey? So what percentage did not know potential employers? They really didn't know the job market, did not know potential employers for their career field. Okay, about half are saying 25%, actually 48%, so nearly half. 48% of students surveyed in the student satisfaction survey responded said they did not know potential employers for their career field. That's pretty significant. So, okay, we can go to the next one, please. Okay, and another career readiness question. What percentage of students did not know required educational or other qualifications for their future job or career field, according to that survey? Okay, it looks tied between 30 and 40%. Actually, it is 30%. So those who responded 30%, that is correct. Just one thing before you switch to the next slide, because I think we missed one of the polls, and I just want to make a mention of this. We had 19,197 students answering that student satisfaction survey. So we were interested to find out how many of those 19,000 wanted career services follow-up, and the answer was 8,467. So 44% of that 19,000 wanted career services follow-up. So we're launching a number of initiatives to address that need, such as we're launching live career chat hours now, so that students have a quick question. They can we're posting chat hours on our website, and they can talk to us that way. A lot of students want to help developing a career plan. So next week, we are delivering a webinar on that topic, a very practical hands-on webinar on how to set goals and how to develop a written career plan. So we're really trying to respond as specifically as possible to the needs that we identified through that student satisfaction survey. So with that said, I'm going to hand it back to Linda to talk about the benefits of ePortfolios. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you very much, Lisa. I think our students are quite unique in that most of our students are very career-oriented. They're very motivated to use their education to advance either in their current career, they want to be promoted, or they want to transfer, or they might be looking at a transition into a new career. So I think as academics, we need to think of career management as just an extension of or part of the academic program that we are producing for our students. And I've looked at portfolios. I've used portfolios a great deal in previous graduate level programs, and there's a number of benefits, and the literature on ePortfolios and portfolios in higher ed tend to focus in two domains. There's a great deal of literature around how portfolios are used from a career management perspective, and that's how I use them in my program. However, they can also are effective tools for doing program level assessments as well if you collect and organize it into the proper artifacts. But some of the benefits of the portfolios is really a portfolio is a collection of digital resources or evidence of an individual's progress or student's progress in either a specific course or throughout your program. And usually those elements that are included in a portfolio highlight the achievements that the student has achieved both informally and formally in the learning process. So sometimes those portfolios could include things like sample paper assignments as well as final writing assignments or projects that they do, their resume, videotapes, PowerPoint slides, or presentations that they've done. And the benefit is that from an academic perspective, that you can integrate into the portfolios reflection pieces that are also part of your courses. So they're reflecting on the knowledge and skills that they learned in your course or program and how they're going to apply it in their current career or in a later career. And then the process of creating these portfolios in the courses, you can clearly show what the student is learning, both in individual courses and through a program throughout. It also is a great way of showing the qualifications of our students. And if you reflect and have students reflect on how students are using what they're doing with their ePortfolios and in the classroom into their communities, it gives you a chance to see what their impact from a social change perspective, how they're integrating it from a community service perspective as well. It also, ePortfolios from a career management perspective, it's an awesome platform for students to clearly highlight what they've achieved both from an education and a work perspective, and it's a way of presenting a work product in a very organized way. And the other great thing is the technology allows students to have a personal website at no cost that they can tell prospective employers to go to, or they can include it on their resume. You click on that link on their resume and it takes them to that portfolio, so a possible employer gets additional information that they might not see in a cover letter or a resume. But I think the other great thing is that it clearly shows that We have an outstanding career services section, and it helps promote Walden and our focus on students, because this is a technology that in my field is hardly ever used by students. So it really is a differentiator in the market when our students use this type of technology. So those are just, I think, some of the benefits, and we'll be highlighting more of these as we talk about our individual programs. So next slide.
Great, thanks, Linda. And I just want to show you all that was not a paid endorsement for career services. I would appreciate Linda's very kind recommendation. So anyway, okay, so here's basically a screenshot of what students see when they first log into OptimalResume. And so they can log in through their student portal. There's a link for career services / OptimalResume on the portal, or they can log in through our website. There's a big button on careercenter.waldenu.edu. And so when they log in, all they have to do is use their Walden account, their email account, to create their new OptimalResume account. They create their password and they log in, and then they have access to the full functionality of the system. We get the question, is there a charge? No, there's no charge. It's free to create an account and use the system, and again, they still have access after they graduate to the OptimalResume system. So as you can see there, the green button is the resume builder, the most often used component of the system. There are over 100 resume samples, and my team has done a fantastic job of creating Walden-specific samples for the counseling program, for public health, for PPA. So as programs have decided to integrate OptimalResume into their curriculum, we have developed tailored materials. We collaborate with faculty in order to do that, to get some great buzzwords and great components for those resume documents. And if you want to go in, you can actually look at those resume samples. You do not need to have an OptimalResume account created. You can just go in to the system, click on that green button, and you'll see the samples there. OptimalResume also has its own samples in addition to the ones that we've created. And they developed samples at the beginning, medium, and advanced career levels too. The same thing with cover letters, and then we have sample ePortfolios, and we've worked with programs to find out what the top artifacts are that they would like included in the ePortfolio so that we can develop templates that are specifically tailored to their programs. There's also a really jazzy interview tool that's a lot of fun, where students can basically, there are virtual coaches that will pose an interview question. The student can record audio and video of themselves answering the question, and then they can forward that to a colleague, a peer, or career services advisor for feedback. And then, as Linda said, they can put all these other components, the resume, the letter, and the ePortfolio, into their own personalized website, which is made up of the other OptimalResume materials. And they can create that hyperlink for that. Is automatically generated, and they can send that hyperlink for that website to employers and others who might be interested in reviewing it. So that's a quick overview of the system. As far as how many accounts, we have 10,710 accounts as of today. Here are a list of the schools that have over 1,000 students and alumni already using OptimalResume. Management, School of Education, Health Sciences, Nursing, and Psychology all have over 1,000 users, and Spa and Counseling are edging right up to 1,000 as we speak. So we're really excited to see that kind of usage. So the next slide, and I'm going to hand it over to Jen Farinella, who's going to talk about her creation of her electronic portfolio firsthand. Jen.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Jennifer Farinella. I am a MPA alumnus, but I am also the military services team lead here at Walden. And I started my, trip through OptimalResume when I was in my Master's of Public Policy program, and it was towards the end of the program, I believe, where this was first introduced. And I started kind of poking around and created my resume first, but then saw that there were other options, as Lisa had kind of discussed, and started to build what you're kind of seeing in front of you now, which is my ePortfolio online website, so to speak. And what I did is I created, it's really nice because I was able to create a space and link it to my LinkedIn, which you can also see above my picture there, where I was able to provide a cover letter. My intent is to eventually teach, so a curriculum vitae that I started, as well as a couple of the presentations that you see now. I actually just updated this last night with some other presentations I've completed, but I did a career spotlight presentation, and I was a panelist presenter. So it offered me a lot of options to really present a very comprehensive example of who I am and my background as far as my career is concerned. So not only was I able to present those two items, which you can see on the screen, I was also able to include some artifacts such as letters of recommendation. I have my list of references ready and handy out there. So anybody who searches for me on LinkedIn, I was able to link this Optimal Resume directly to my LinkedIn profile. And so if anybody searches for me out on LinkedIn, they can also click on this link and it will bring them to my Optimal Resume website here, and they can also look through some extra documents. I've also uploaded some papers that I feel or that had done really well on as examples of my writing. And so I just found it really useful, and I used it when I was moving forward with my degree here, or with my position here at Walden, to apply for the lead position that I ended up getting, as I had this also as part of that package. So I found it very beneficial. If anybody has any questions about the ease of use, it's very easy to use. There's lots of templates, like Lisa was saying, lots of ways to kind of change it and make it very particular to what you as a student, or I guess me as a student, really wanted to portray. So I guess, like I said, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take those.
Richard, are you able to advance to the next slide? Hello?
There's some questions in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm watching those carefully, so I'm responding to those as we go. Great, thank you.
Okay.
So Earl, would you like to talk about ePortfolios in the School of Counseling?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
So how the School of Counseling has used ePortfolios has been a way to integrate students preparing for their careers before they graduate and in applying for field experience. We had some gaps in our process for applying for field experience where students struggled with career transitions, having relatable skills, and then communicating those relatable skills. So when we came across Optimal Resume and we partnered with Career Services, we just opened the door for so many opportunities for our students. Some of you may not know, but the counseling master's degree programs have no direct bachelor degree relation. So a counseling master's degree is often a cornucopia of different historical experiences and different types of degrees. So it's very common for someone getting a master's in counseling to be changing careers or transitioning from one career to another. So we needed to have a solid tool to help those students transition. Through Optimal Resume, we've been able to help students developmentally and comprehensively assess their skills and translate them into the counseling field. The Optimal Resume system is also very accessible. It's very simple. It's drag, drop, and click system. We're also able to eliminate our virtual paper, so attaching a resume or a cover letter to an email. Now, as you saw with the example, that you can simply click on a link and see a website. Next slide, please. So how we have integrated Optimal Resume is requiring some tasks and activities from the start of the experience in all of our counseling programs through the end. So each quarter, students are directed to do an activity in Optimal Resume. first quarter, they create their account. So as they're integrating their new experiences with being a Walden student, they're also seeing this as an integral part of their identity as a Walden student. Quarter 2, they start building their resume. Quarter 3, they add a cover letter. And quarter 4, they're uploading work samples and completing practice interviews. Quarter 4 is when students are starting to find field experience sites in counseling. So we want to prepare them and provide those tools to help them ready for that practical experience. In quarter 5, they publish their website and complete their interviews. And then by quarter 6, they're applying for field experience. And part of the application is the students have to provide us with their personal link in OptimalResume so we can review their resume and so forth. The other challenge that we have found is students struggle to find field experience sites. So by having this tool, we're able to more efficiently assess how students are presenting themselves to sites to support their site search and establishing a productive experience for field experience. We've translated this into the doctoral program in a very similar fashion, but what we've also do in our doc program is we integrate this with our internship assignments. Since they're expanding their knowledge as counselors to becoming counselor educators, we have assignments that students are required to submit their website with to get an assessment and a grade for how they're presenting and developing their identity. So we've really worked to integrate OptimalResume from the start of our programs all the way through the end. And then the benefit, as has been mentioned, is that this resource is accessible to our students even after they graduate, as long as OptimalResume is available. And I believe I'm going to pass it to Linda for the next slide.
Perfect. Ooh. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm with the School of Public Policy and Administration, and I'm the program director with the MPA, MPP, and nonprofit programs. And we basically started integrating ePortfolios in 2014 as part of the capstone course in the MPA and MPP programs, which Jennifer was a part of, and she was talking about she created it as part of the, it was part of the capstone course of the MPP program. And in all honesty, if I had been here earlier and hired by Walden earlier, I probably would have put it in all of the MPA courses when they're upgraded. But I got here and we're upgrading the capstone course, and I wanted to put something in that related to career services. So my students were thinking about their transition into a new career as they were completing their degree program. And so as a result, that we basically created a video in partnership with Career Services and her team to create information video about how to set up the ePortfolio and what the specific artifacts that were specific to students in this particular discipline. And they were awesome to work with. So if you're starting and doing that process, reach out to Career Services and Lisa and her team, because they're a great team to work with. And that was really successful. And so when we had an opportunity, we upgraded our nonprofit management and leadership program in 2015. I started to integrate an integrated ePortfolio in the very first quarter in which students took courses in the nonprofit program. So basically, it's kind of like Earl's program. So in the first quarter, students are setting up their ePortfolio account. They're putting in a current resume. And that's in a Principles of Nonprofit Management and Leadership course. And then as they go through that program, particularly in the core courses of that program, they're in various assignments of various courses. They're asked to upload specific assignments into that portfolio. And for the nonprofit students, basically, many of those students want to create their own nonprofit organization in their local community. And one of the things that they need to start that process really is a business plan for that nonprofit organization. And so they, in fact, create elements of that business plan in each course of the nonprofit program. And so the ePortfolio is really a mechanism for them to begin to highlight not only the skills that they're learning, in the nonprofit program, but also elements of their business plan that they can actually begin sharing with possible funders long before they graduate. They can begin sharing mission statements, vision statements, strategic planning, human resources information, budgeting information, and things like that. And so it's been a really great tool for them in planning out a career as well as an organization. And what I thought was really great about, like I said, with this particular tool is that all students have access to it, faculty have access to the same tool, and it goes with them when they're alumni. So they can, it's another wonderful resource for our students, from both at the beginning of a program to the very end of it. And so I'm more than happy for people who are interested and want more information about how to integrate these elements into courses or programs. Please reach out to me. I also want to thank the PSID team. I think Todd Johnson might be on this call too, but they're really easy to work with as well in helping to create and put in these elements into courses as well. So I really appreciate the opportunity to showcase some of the things that we're doing in the School of Public Policy and Administration. And with that, I think we can take anybody's questions if anybody's interested in having any questions.
Actually, Dr. Barkley asked whether Jen includes course assignments in her portfolio, and I'm thinking Linda and Earl, you might speak to that question as well.
So this is Jen, and I did include a couple of assignments that I had completed as artifacts on my portfolio. I did want to also add that when I had spoke about adding those presentations, what was really nice is that the two presentations that you could see on that slide, those were actually linked presentations, so that there was links embedded in those pieces of information, so that would take them out to like a YouTube presentation that I had been a participant in, or a webinar that I had been a participant in. The other two presentations that I added last night those are actually PDFs of PowerPoints that I had given a presentation on. So there's a multiple different ways that you can add those artifacts. It doesn't have to be just a document. It can also be a web link, a PDF, or like I said, links out to a different kind of audio. So that I have also found helpful.
In the School of Counseling, we encourage and nearly require students to include work samples from their residencies or in their techniques course where they're actually demonstrating mock counseling sessions. So those skills are accessible to anyone interested in bringing them on as a field experience student or as an employee. And we also encourage them to incorporate any papers that are really strong, giving the reader the strong sense of their identity as a clinician. So we do encourage them to incorporate assignments from classrooms.
And we do the same thing, particularly in the Masters of Science in Nonprofit Management and Leadership program. We have 4 courses across that program in which the students actively upload their assignments into their OptimalResume or ePortfolio. And most of those are artifacts specifically related to skills that employers want to see, including how to do focus groups for strategic planning sessions, or how to do PowerPoint presentations, and those are some of the assignments that they upload into it. Other items might include a budget plan for a new organization. And so those are specific items that usually we require. And you can tailor, like I said, the assignments to the artifacts that are specific to your discipline or career field.
I will also say that a lot of the artifacts I did get, I was a part of the nonprofit management and leadership focus until the very end of my program, in which I had switched to just a general for a master's for different reasons. But that's where I did get a lot of my artifacts, was through that nonprofit management and leadership coursework.
Excellent. Thanks, Jen. Bill Barkley is asking, Linda, Earl, can students later delete them if they don't like their ePortfolios once they know more, once they're better informed?
Oh, yeah. They can manage any of the artifacts that they upload into their portfolio. As they grow or develop, or if they don't think they want a better version of something or a better example of their skill sets, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, and they also can keep anything they uploaded and take it off of their website. So it could still be in their account, but it's not published to their website. So the history isn't deleted if they so choose.
Yeah, this is Jen again. You can pick and choose what you put on your website and what you want displayed. So I do have some artifacts that are not displayed for public that are included in my portfolio, so I can move things around as I need to when I want to display different items out there. I did, like I said, just went in and updated it again last night and just kind of removed and refreshed a couple different things. So it's really easy to use as far as kind of deleting anything that you may not want out on a site.
And several faculty members have asked whether Optimal Resume is available to faculty members. And in doing our contract with Optimal Resume, it was based on our full-time enrollment. So it's really open to students and alumni only. So, but I guess if you all passed enough feedback on that to possibly Laurel or Eric, maybe we could get that changed. But right now it's based on FTE. So thank you for that question. Any other questions coming in? Just a reminder, because I got the question, how do students create an account? They can just go to our website at careercenter.walden.edu, and there's a big Optimal Resume button on the left-hand side, and just click on that and they go right into the system. And feel free to do that too if you just want to check out the sample resumes and documents that are available through Optimal Resume on there. If you want to check out the system, you can do a lot of checking out without actually creating an account. Looks like we're getting additional questions. Is the video available online for us to look at? Yes, it is. And so basically, okay, I'll just give you all very easy instructions, or you can email me. But basically, if you go onto our website, careercenter.waldenu.edu, and you'll see there's a button on the left-hand side that says Quick Start Videos, and you click on the Quick Start Video button, and there's a whole list of about, I'm going to say 10 Quick Start videos, and just find the one for Optimal Resume. There's one that's clearly labeled for Optimal Resume. It's 13 minutes long, and it walks you through all the components of the system. And if you have trouble finding it, just email me at lisa.cook@waldenu.edu, and I'll send you the direct link, so whatever you prefer. But it really does, walk you through it very easily. And you'll get to try it and see what you think. So are there any other questions before we wrap up? And just again, because I got it several times, alumni do not have to ever pay for accounts. We have no plans to sunset those accounts. They can keep them as long as they need to after they graduate. Great.
Okay, before we wrap up, I'd like to thank our presenters, Earl Gray, Jennifer Farinella, Linda Kiltz, and Lisa Cook, and thank you to all the people who attended this afternoon. And I just want to give you a little reminder, at the end of the webinar, you will see a survey that will appear on your screen. Could you do us a favor and please participate in that survey, fill it out, because we use that information to improve the webinars that the Center for Faculty Excellence produces.
And Richard, can I mention one quick other fact? If you know anyone who might be interested in attending this webinar, we will be doing this again next Tuesday at noon Central. So, and it's on the CFE newsletter, the link to register. So if you know anyone, please refer them to that webinar. And thank you all so much. We really appreciate seeing this interest and participation in Optimal Resume, so thank you.